everybody? Welcome to Arizona Audio Stories Comedy Talk. My name is Mando Man, your baby mama's favorite comic. Thank you for joining us once again as we host a series of interviews with local comedians here in Arizona. It's real good to have very funny friends, so I would like to share my stories and share their stories with you guys. So thanks for joining us once again. Today's special guest today, a very good friend of mine, been doing comedy with me here in Phoenix for quite a long time. One of the OGs of comedy. Welcome, Ernesto Ortiz.
Hey, thank you for having me. Oh, no one's ever called me OG of comedy.
OG? Well, that's where we are, man. Look at it. It's in the beards now.
I know.
You know, we didn't start this way.
No,
you know,
it was all like, I had like really thick hair and a black.
Yep. Like same here, man. It's stress of comedy life. It's ups and downs. It's a lot of stress, man. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out, man. You look incredible, bro.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. You know, when you work in the arts, sometimes you have to have a day gig, and,
That's
and they
true.
make me comb my hair. So.
Comedy doesn't pay people think until you get to the top. So sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do, man.
The hustle's okay.
That's all right,
It's
man.
all part of it.
Right,
it's part of the pain that makes the comedy, right?
That's right. That's where you get a lot of material too.
Yeah,
so
a lot of it.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks for coming out, man. We've been at it a long time. It seems like probably known each other for what, 9 years, 10 years now?
Yeah. I looked back. I've been doing comedy 12 years now. So so I think around 9-10 years. So.
Yeah. Well, when I started, I was the puppy, and you guys are already doing your thing.
Well, and then you passed us. So now you have this show.
No. Shout out to Arizona Audio Stories for the platform for us, man. Not just me, but for us.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I'm real happy to see you again, and just kind of hear some of your stories. I know we've talked through the years, so we kind of know a little bit about each other, but it's good. I just want to know more, and I know your story, and tell us a little bit about you coming up. You're from Arizona.
From Arizona, from West Phoenix.
From West Phoenix.
Yeah, holla, West Phoenix. From Maryvale.
Shout out to Maryvale.
Shout out to
Maryvale's own. So how was that growing up? I know a lot of people, have various parts of Phoenix have a story,
a reputation.
I don't want to say it, but I mean, sometimes things happen, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Where we grow up, it's about who you are. You've done well for yourself as an individual. How was growing up in Maryvale?
I thought it was great, but originally I was born in Oregon. My parents are migrant workers, and they moved here because they said, well, we don't want our kids to be migrant workers, so we're gonna, make life better. So my dad's family was here and in Avondale, and so I lived there for a bit. But then when they got divorced, we moved to Maryvale, and at first I was so scared because of the reputation. I was like, oh no. Then I made a lot of friends, and it was great. I mean, it has that reputation of being a rough neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It was when I grew up there, but I have a big background in the arts. Since I was a little kid, I was taking all the classes, like dance, acting, whatever, all those classes. And I think I only have one story where kids chased me after I got out of dance class, and but since I was a dancer, I was strong, so I could run fast.
You did a couple pirouettes.
Yeah, I did some pirouettes.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
I could tap, and I'm tough. So.
Gotcha. So, what got you into comedy? What started you out? Where was your first attempt?
My friends always said I was funny. You always hear that thing. You should try comedy, but I actually have have always worked in the nonprofit sector, and I was working for a food bank at the time, and they were having a fundraiser at the Tempe Improv, and so they asked for a representative to go and speak on behalf of the food bank. So I said, okay, I'll go on stage, and I said something. People laughed, and then I got off stage, and the manager at the club, I forget who it was. He said, I haven't seen you in the comedy scene. And I'm like, oh, I don't do that. He's like, well, if you ever want to, you can get like 5.
That's pretty good. I mean, to get co-signed by
it took me a year before, and I ended up taking a workshop in between there and the whole mess because I was scared. But finally,
oh, so you're the type, like, you're obsessive of you don't want to jump into something.
No,
do your research.
I'm that guy who always has to like take a class.
That's
like
hilarious.
there's always a class I have to take before I try anything. Yeah.
Well, hey, props to you. It must have been something. Like I said, it's it's tough to have a comedy club. I mean, it's something to have a comedy club manager see something on you just talking, because a lot of people get on stage and
you're like, whoa,
and it's rough. And I'm no different. I was just talking earlier about my first time on stage. I watch videos now and I'm like, yikes.
Oh,
I'm like,
videos.
nah, bro.
I know.
Nah.
I see my videos too. I'm like, oh no.
I want to delete it,
wrong with me?
scrub it from the internet.
Why am I talking like that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's funny because, doing interviews now, I'm doing the same thing. I'm seeing some of the content. I'm like, come on, man, get it right, get it right. Probably should take a class, but oh well. Here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah. So, so growing up in Maryvale, we'll address. You are alternative.
What?
Comic?
Alternative? A queer comic? Openly
comic,
gay? Yeah, I don't even know. I identify as gay or queer or whatever.
Okay.
But I don't even think about it that way. I just think like I'm a comedian and I'm talking about my life, and it just happens to be that I'm a gay man.
Right. So the reason I ask is it's interesting because it's definitely subject matter, the material, but also the struggle of being a gay man in a group of a lot of people. And so as a comedian myself, you always watch shows and it's always like it's a black guy or it's a female or does you find it hard to get bookings, easier to get bookings, or what's that like?
Yeah, I don't know if I notice it as much now. I might just be numb, but there was a time when my friend, very good friend Gene Moore and I, we were for a long time attached at the hip, but it seems like we don't get to see each other as much anymore. But there was a time when they wouldn't book us together on the same show.
Yeah.
They're like, well, now we already have one gay comic.
I noticed that. Noticed that. It's got to be tough. I mean, a lot of some groups and some subgroups don't really have to deal with that. One of the subgroups, like a female comics, they go through the same. So I'm just curious about. It's gotten better. I feel like we, as society, as we all kind of just become.
Yeah. Another thing that you would hear is like, no, you're funny. Come on we want to book you for the show, but you can't say this, you can't talk about this, you can't. They would want to book me, but they don't want to hear about anything gay.
That's interesting because comedy really is about your experience and things that happen on your journey. Just like for me, same way.
Yeah.
My life is what I talk about. So it's interesting that a lot of times people don't want to hear certain things that make them uncomfortable. But that's the beauty of comedy, right? You got to crash through those barriers. And you're real funny about it, man. I mean, you crush. Every time we've been on the show, Ernesto Ortiz, he's going up. I'm like, it's hard to follow a gay comic because you guys crush. I mean, it's hilarious. Audiences love it. And then I got to go talk about being fat. I always love to watch your set. Because it's so funny. I think that's great because like a lot of people that don't go to local comedy, they don't realize like all the Dave Chappelle's and everybody, they've all been through this process. So that's what we're doing, and we're getting better and hopefully getting better and growing. And I've seen you, all over the place and working with. Who are some of the favorite comedians that you've had the privilege of working with?
I think Cristela Alonso, she was great.
I've always wanted to work with her.
Yeah, she's great. It's very funny. Willie Barcenas, my good friend still to this day. I met him because I wrote into his podcast, and then he put me on stage. Jeff Garcia. But it's
very funny.
Yeah, still one of my favorite people. And
he comes into town. You're on the show. I noticed that. Yeah, good friends, huh?
Yeah, and
that's
randomly he'll do like this thing where he would call and sing to me and then hang up. and I still get those calls.
Nobody does that for me, man. That make me feel special.
He would sing "Touch Me in the Morning."
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then hang up.
That's hilarious. No, I mean, isn't it fun that we get to kind of have our moments with some of these great legendary comics.
Yeah.
Shout out to Willie Barcena. That's a good friend of mine too.
Yeah, he's
and
great.
I love when they come to town. But what do you do other than comedy? What besides the stage? I mean, what does Ernesto Ortiz occupy his time with?
Well, so I work at a nonprofit called Advance. It used to be called Esperanza, and we focus on healthy communities and health equity. We do a lot of international work. Things like cataract surgeries in Peru and clean water systems in South America, that kind of stuff. But here locally, we also do a lot of work in our communities here, keeping our communities healthy through diabetes education programs and helping feed seniors in low-income housing, that kind of thing, which I love because those are the neighborhoods I grew up in. I feel like I'm giving back to those neighborhoods because we get, like I said, there's a reputation that sometimes those neighborhoods have, and people don't like to give them love. But beautiful people and beautiful communities are in there.
Well, one thing is funny because you always hear this about the West Side, the West Side, the West Side. But I for one personally, I think it's got a lot of culture. I think it's got more culture than a lot of places. Just. It's the Latino culture kind of shines out there, and I kind of like it. Now I don't drive through it at night. Don't get me wrong. My windows up, doors locked, but I do love going through there. They got amazing food.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna find.
You know what I love about a store on the West Side is like, you can go into the store, the grocery store. You can buy groceries, get jewelry.
Oh yeah.
Get a haircut.
Get your haircut. No
all
doubt.
in the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
And
sure.
get some bomb tacos.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Well, man, look, it's been great. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us. And
thank you.
And we look forward to see you perform. Make sure you go check out Ernesto Ortiz. I mean, he performs all over the valley.
Yeah.
He'll be coming up at JP's Comedy Club.
Yeah, I'm a regular there. I'm there every second week of the month. So
yeah, for sure. So if you're on the East Side, or if you want to make a trip, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Super funny dude, man. And
thank you.
And a brother in comedy. Yeah. So we love you. Look forward to seeing you do great things.
Well, thank you.
And man, like I said, thanks for joining us, man. Comedy Talk, Arizona Audio Stories, man. Make sure you follow Ernesto Ortiz. You want to give your socials out?
At Ernie Ortiz.
You almost messed that up? How you messed that up? It's your name.
I know, it's the worst.
Or is that your name?
Well, okay.
All right, we're going to cut this.
Yeah. But all of that information is on my website at ernieortiz.com.
Ernieortiz.com. Shout out, man. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate
you, man. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Arizona Audio Stories. Stay tuned. We got more content, more funny people. Make sure you follow, hit the like, subscribe, share button. Arizona Audio Stories on Facebook, even on Instagram, and we're going to be growing, guys. So keep following us. We appreciate you. This has been Comedy Talk with Mando Man. You can find me, comedian Mando Man, on Instagram. Look up Mando Man. It's an easy name to look up. You'll probably see a picture of my face. So thank you guys for joining us, and we're out.
Yo,